嗨，大家好，欢迎来到探比国路 TBKL。今天我们用新的 camera 拍摄，它的 focus 不错不错。今天我们要看一下 ARK Invest 大厦对 Tesla 的业绩最新的看法。在 TBKL 探比国路这一个 channel 所讲的全部东西，都只限于娱乐用途。我希望我有帮到你娱乐。如果你们要买什么股票也好，请咨询你们的专业顾。
You caught everyone's attention, Tasha, of course, a little bit earlier in the year with your view on where Tesla's price target will go to 3,000 as your general case by 2025. What did you hear today that excited you?
Well, I'm most excited about Tesla's opportunity in autonomous driving. And what we saw in this most recent release is that, they do plan on releasing the FSD full self-driving beta version of their city streets autonomy software to more customers soon.
这是最新的 beta 9，他们再也没有靠雷达。
Tesla also mentioned that they're realizing that with their new vision system, that radar is becoming unnecessary sooner than expected. So I think this has been a long time coming. Tesla has the largest deployment of robots in the world. If you think of each car as a robot collecting information, and I think now as we're seeing autonomous vehicles commercialized for the first time, Waymo was first commercialized in the U.S. I think Tesla is a real player to watch here with their scale and data advantage.
Waymo 不一样 ，Waymo 是它已经 set 了在谷歌一个 road 一个小小的路，然后那个车就一直跑那个路，就好像我 set 从 A 点到 B 点，可是那一个路他们用雷达先 scan 先，然后他们就放进去那个 system， 然后他们就一直跑那一条路，所以比如讲那一条路在 KL， 只可以在 KL 一直跑不了，不能跑出 KL， 如果你来到 BJ 它就假烂。就跑不到了。
Is it bullish or not when you hear then of like a Lyft getting out of that and selling on to Toyota?
I wasn't too surprised to hear that. We've seen a lot of shuffling in this space. Most recently, GM also acquired a company called Voyage, and they had acted as if they were close to commercializing, and an acquisition would seem to say that maybe they're not so close if they have to integrate new technology and a whole new team into their team. I think this is a really tough problem to solve. And I don't think every company is going to be successful. In fact, we think the auto industry is going to consolidate significantly over the next decade as we see the shift to both autonomy and electric vehicles.
电子车呢，是人人都可以做 ，GM 也可以做 ，BM 也可以做 ，Merc 也可以做，谁都可以做，只是赚不赚钱那个是另外一个部分。很多时候电子车呢，他们是亏住来卖的，因为他们做出来的成本实在是太高。
So I think you'll continue to see more shakeups, and really whoever launches and gets to scale soon will have an advantage in this space.
Of course, there are plenty of other reasons as to the thesis of the valuation and the view that you think it's going to get to an annual revenue of $700 billion. There's its capital efficiency, its insurance business. Where, therefore, do you think its capital efficiency is going at the moment? What did you make of, how its cash placement is, what it's doing with Bitcoin, how it's driving, down the costs of making each car?
Yes, we've done a lot of work on this space. So my partner analyst, Sam Forrest, has modeled the cost decline of electric vehicle batteries using Wright's law. And so Wright's law says that for every cumulative doubling in production, you get a corresponding reduction in demand. If you use Wright's law to model Tesla's cost decline, you'll see that, as we saw them announce at Battery Day with the $25,000 car they expect to produce over the next few years, that electric vehicles are really reaching price parity with gas-powered cars. And that's going to cause a very important inflection in demand. So the total cost of ownership of an EV is already lower than a gas-powered car, but now the sticker price is going to be lower, and that's really what consumers look to. So we think electric vehicles are the future, and we're really just in the early innings of this. You know, Tesla in their release pointed out that 97% of cars sold today, of cars out there today, sorry, gas-powered cars, and actually 98% of their trade-ins are gas-powered cars as well. On the capital efficiency side, one thing that we changed in our most recent price target is we actually think that they could be more capital efficient than we were previously given them credit for. And that's as we've seen them build out production in Shanghai and sort of across the globe.
所以这个 law 呢是讲说东西越多，它就越便宜。所以基本上现在 electric vehicle 会贵的原因，是因为它的 battery 的确是还比较贵。所以在日子久了，很多人会开始越做越多 battery， 挖很多 nickel， 然后 battery 的价钱呢，当然也是会越来越低。所以当 Tesla 在出25,000这一辆车 Model 2的时候，还没有确定的名字 Model 2，我们先叫它 Model 2。所以它在出 Model 2过后呢，就是一个 game changer 在后盾的。
We've seen that they actually can lower that, cost per car a little bit more than we had initially anticipated. But again, that larger story is really that long-term cost decline curve with electric vehicles that we've done some work on.
Yeah, certainly they've been talking plenty about the cost. The average cost per vehicle across its model line was $84,000 back in 2017, and now it's only $38,000. So we see that movement. I'm interested in the overall competitive landscape, though, because you say this is like sort of a seismic shift we're seeing in the whole view on electric vehicles. Is there a worry, though, that with GM, with Volkswagen, they too can drive down the cost of electric vehicles, and we're basically at peak market share for the likes of Tesla?
Yes, actually, and that's an important part of our thesis, that we think that other players will enter the market with competitive electric vehicles. In our model, we don't expect Tesla to take more than 20-some% share of each segment that they enter in the vehicle space. We expect other automakers to come in there. But what we have seen is that Tesla is still much further ahead on performance and price. If you model those two, Sam Corris, my partner analyst, has done some work looking at the charge rate versus cost. And if you look at Tesla's lineup, other automakers, may be able to match performance, but they're doing that by producing a very expensive car. Tesla's the only one who's able to produce a very high performance and relative to competitors, an expensive vehicle. So we think they're still at least 3 years ahead of the competition. But that said,
3 years ahead， 3年就 imagine 你现在，人家在用 iPhone 4的时候，你已经有 iPhone 7。中国人最喜欢最先进的 technology， 所以中国人很多都会继续选择 Tesla.
We do see a lot of uptake, especially of the smaller electric vehicles in China, for instance. Electric vehicles are going to happen, across the globe, and it's not just going to be passenger cars. By the way, we think it's going to be machinery. We think we've done some work on electric semi-trucks that could actually be cost competitive to rail. Electric vehicles are really the future everywhere, and we expect many companies to participate. But again, not everyone will be successful. There will likely be some consolidation in the space.
Consolidation phase 就是讲说，不是每一个车卖 electric vehicle 的就会成功。但是现在这一个潮呢，就是什么车都跑去卖 electric vehicle， 就好像马来西亚这样，马生也跑去卖手套股啊，老妈。
You're, of course, a long-term holder, Tasha, to a large extent, in terms of your thesis is a longer-term perspective. But when you're seeing the share price, not moving that volatile right now, off by 1.8% in after-hours trading, in the market, the options pricing, we're seeing swings of anywhere up to 7%. But do you think the market just had anticipated all the good news and we needed more in terms of a blowout for a real performance today?
That's a possibility. I would say that when you look at Tesla as a stock, you really should look to the long term. So, we take these earnings periods as time to learn more about the company. Of course, listen to the calls, get more details on things like the autopilot updates that are very exciting that they're enabling. But overall, I think Tesla is an innovation story. So at ARK, we invest in disruptive innovation, and we have a 5-year time horizon on all of our investments.
他是讲买股票的时候，你不要看那个价钱今天上多少，明天下多少，尽量把自己当作是股东。然后他是讲最少拿一个5年的时间里面，所以才可以看到东西。所以现在的 Tesla 已经是600 PE， 之前呢是1200，很快的在下一个季度，我相信他们可以再下多可能下到300-400，过后就100-200，明年开始就100-200。所以它很快就会下，因为它是很够力成长的一个公司来，成长很够力的一些公司。
So I think when you look at disruptive innovation, things can change really quickly. You see that with exponential growth. So you really want to look at it over a longer term horizon. So I think there could be some immediate reaction to this news tonight, but I would say that we are certainly keeping in term in we are certainly looking for the longer term picture here, that 5-year picture for both autonomy and electric vehicles.
所以你们对 Cathie Wood 还有 Tasha 在 Tesla 的看法有什么看法？然后最后，如果你们喜欢的话，希望你们可以爆掉那个 algorithm， 按 like， 谢谢大家，我是佳佳。